use words, they use bullets.
This is the man who shot Charlie Kirk. This is the man who shot Trump. This is the man who killed Melissa Hortman. This is the man who tried to kill John Hoffman. This is the man who tried to kill Paul Pelosi. This is the man who killed an Obama-appointed judge's son. This is the man who hired hitmen to kill Democrats. This is the man who ran over a left-wing activist and killed her. This is the man responsible for the Austin bombing. This is the man who sent pipe bombs to Obama, Biden, and Hillary Clinton. This is the man who shot Gabby Gifford. This is the man who tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Oh, and this man, and this man, and this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, and this man. This is the man who set Josh Shapiro's house on fire. This is the Oklahoma bomber. This is his accomplice. These are just a few of the men who beat police officers on January 6th. I can think of a few things they have in common, and it's not the way they use their words or their left-wing politics. Part 2. Killed 10 black people in a Buffalo grocery store. His motive was, quote, to prevent the elimination of the white race. The El Paso Walmart shooter, he shot 45 people, killing 23. He thought he was acting at the request of President Trump to stop the invasion. He also cited the Great Replacement theory. The neo-schmatzi who killed 9 people at a black church because he, quote, had to do something. This is the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter. His motive was to stop white genocide. This was the Oregon shooter. Police found a manifesto where he went on a lengthy rant about black men. The Dollar General shooter, his motive was a hatred for black people. Despite previously being involuntarily committed, he was still able to legally purchase the weapon. Florida. This is the Oxford school shooter. His parents gave him a 9mm for an early Christmas gift when he was 15 years old. They were so excited they just couldn't wait till Christmas. This is the FedEx shooter. Police found that he was viewing not like propaganda online and that he wanted to demonstrate his masculinity. The man went on a shooting spree in Atlanta, killed 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian women. This was the Dayton mass shooter, shot 17 people, killing 9, including his sister. He previously suspended from school for having hit lists and rape lists. The Santa Fe school shooter, one of his victims rejected his romantic advances. This was the Thousand Oaks shooting. This is the Parkland shooter, Sutherland Springs shooter, Las Vegas shooter, the Sandy Hook shooter. This is the Aurora Theater shooter. He had an obsession with killing and chose the weapon that would allow for the maximum amount of casualties. These, of course, are the Columbine shooters. The Chardon school shooter, who was upset that his ex-girlfriend had a new boyfriend. The Georgia school shooter, he is not transgender, no matter how many right-wing AI-generated memes tell you so. Father gave him an AR for Christmas when he was 14. Part 2. Killed...
Shalom. Call Haloyim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the bishops and excuse me, and the elders of Great Millstone who teach well. Shalom to you fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times as well. Shalom to the few Akwa that believe. A hearty shalom to you other laborers and you believers that are scattered abroad, whether you be among the heathen and even like the heathen who are speckled bird Israelites, to the whole household of faith, which is the elect. I want to say shalom to you, the water to the elder brother of arrows of indignation. Subscribe and be edified. He makes some good short videos that, you know, if you, don't have a topic in hand for a video, that elder brother, he produced some good clips that you can do videos off of. And this particular video right here, as you can see, the true face of crime, the true face of, of criminals here in Babylon. And she named, that so-called white woman, she named all the shootings and the people she was naming or portraying was the actual perpetrator or, the actual one that committed the act of murder. And this is, this is not the narrative they want in the news. They want the narrative in the news to be the so-called Negro and Latinos, all right, so-called Black Hispanics, right, to be the face of crime. You know, you got Trump, you know, Nero Trump. He's putting those troops into your, you know, your inner cities where the heavy portion of Black and Latinos live, claiming the crime is, you know, too high. And, you know, Jake commit crimes, but not on the level of an Edomite or you Edomites in general. As you can see, most of the people she named, they had all heinous crimes. And they was known to be what? Mass shooters. Mass shooters. All of them. All right. Kidnappings, you name it. Okay. Assassinations. And they don't push the narrative or they don't word it like they would word it if it was a so-called black man that had done those acts or crimes. They don't word it the same way. Like the DC sniper, you know, which I think that was, you know, set up or control opposition. But nevertheless, you know, they act like he was the worst, you know, they act like he was the worst criminal in history, you know, because they had a so-called black face up as the DC sniper. All right. And then they had an older guy and the younger Jake Mill, right? Which is, again, I believe that to be a control opposition or setup. Okay. Because you got to remember that Esau is very cunning and crafty, man. Okay. But let's get a few precepts real quick. Romans 13:4. For he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Right, and this is talking about the so-called white man. And you go into the context of this. This is going into the Roman authorities, which, you know, today is the so-called American authorities, which is the same nation, all right? The Edomites, okay? And they don't bear the sword in vain because why? That's their blessing. How we know that? Because you got to go to the blessing wherein our forefather Isaac blessed them, their forefather Esau, Edom, all right? Genesis 27, I'll go up here. Let's see. I'm going to start a little bit. Genesis 27:34, it says, and when Esau heard the words of his, well, I'll start up a little bit, Shalakia. Yeah. So this is, I'll start at 34. This is Esau coming from the field and hunting and realizing that Jacob had got the blessing from Isaac. Okay. But when you read up, actually, you know, which I'm not going to read it now, but the Lord put on the spirit of Rebecca, their mother. All right. Let me see. When you read, there we go. So when you read up in the beginning of this chapter, right, and you get into the story, Rebecca heard that, you know, Isaac was getting ready to give out the blessings, okay? And so the Lord put on the spirit of Rebecca to go get Jacob, okay? So I'm not going to get into it right now, but, you know, pretty much when you get into the count, that's what happens. Okay? Showing you that the Lord was with Rebecca to put on her spirit to alert Jacob to go get that blessing from their father. All right. So I'm gonna read verse 34. It says, "And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, saying unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety and had taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? Which the word Jacob means to plant. All right, or to get over him. Which the Lord was with him. All right, the Lord was with him to do that. It says, For he had supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he had taken away my blessing, which the birthright, you go to the birthright in the 25th chapter. Isaac sold it. Not Isaac, it's like Esau sold it. Okay? Just Genesis 25 and 31. This is when Esau came from the field, from hunting and shit, and he was faint, he was tired, he was hungry, and Jacob was, preparing the meal, and he was impatient. He didn't want to, let it get done fully, meaning like the meat and shit, which, that meat was medium rare, all right? And this is what Jacob said to him, right? Genesis 25 and 31. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day, and he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. See? So he sold his birthright to our forefather Jacob. All right? Which, you go into the traditions, the firstborn son would inherit the things from the father first. That's usually how it would go down. But in this particular instance, all right, the second born son, all right, according to the flesh, had gotten the birthright by purchase, if you will, all right, because he sold it to him. Verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and a pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright, so he hated it. He didn't care about it, and he hated it. Despised meaning hate it. All right. So I don't know what you Edomites be complaining about. Talking about Jacob stole it. First of all, he gave his birthright up by selling it to Jacob. All right, and then he didn't care for it, as we just read. Okay, back in Genesis 27 and 27 and verse 36. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he had taken away my blessing, and he has not reserved the blessing for me. And Isaac answered and said to Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing? My father bless me, even me, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Right, so now he's crying bitterly because he realized that, all right, the better blessing, all right, has already been given out to Jacob. Verse 39. And Isaac, his father, answered and said to him, Behold, thy dwelling, right, your dwelling, right, should be the fatness of the earth, which that goes to the riches, man. When you look at the NLT, it says, Finally, his father, Isaac, said to him, You will live away from the riches or richness of the earth, and away from the dew of heaven, from the dew of heaven, of the heaven above, Slakia. So you look at how Esau lives right now, he got the best or the choicest part of the land. Okay, he controlled the resources. He controlled the world's wealth, in mass, and that's him living out his blessing, right? Or part of his blessing, right? Because he go on to say this in verse 40, back on the KJV side, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. Right. So, and by thy sword shalt thou live. You're gonna live by your sword. And so you look at the many acts against Jacob, all right, that Esau have committed as far as these heinous crimes against Jacob, which is us, because our forefather Jacob, his name changed to Israel, and we're the Israelites, meaning we descend from him through his sons. And what happened is, throughout our history, there's been a history of rivalry, all right, and all kind of atrocities against us have Esau committed as far as what he's done to us, man. This is why they're trying to hide, even American history of slavery. All right. They don't want to talk about, the oppression of our people. They want to outlaw it or ban it, because why? That brings shame upon these Edomites. These devils know that they know that they have done wrong. Okay. As far as to us, the Lord's people, man. And so they want to just hide it all together. So it says here, well, that's it on that. Okay. Let's go from there to the book of Obadiah. Matter of fact, before I go here, let me see here. All right, let's go to Habakkuk 2. And Habakkuk 2:16, it says, thou art filled with shame for glory. And this is what's going on right now. All right, at the height of your kingdom, which that height reached its tipping point. All right, you can't go no higher than you've gone, because that's the Lord allowing you to go to the height that He wants to allow you to go. And you can't surpass that, Esau. Thou art filled with shame for glory. So what's going on? The whole world is watching the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, shame on every mainstream news media outlet. And what's going on is the atrocities are being, put on display for everyone to see who's the real villain or perpetrator. Okay, especially over here in America. Hey, the Edomites have done some of the worst things to our people over here in Babylon, because you got even a thing called chattel slavery, where it started with the so-called Negro, which is the tribe of Judah, all right, which they call African Americans today. They call them black, Negro, whatever. But they really the tribe of Judah. They were treated less than cattle. Okay? The fact that you raped and robbed and murdered so-called Native Americans and indigenous to these lands, all right, by using chemical warfare, smallpox, all right, murdering them in droves, man. So all that come up to the forefront, and now, he's mad. All right, the heinous atrocities to the so-called Latinos or Hispanics, sterilization, mass genocide of them. See, that's come to the forefront, and now you don't want it to be heard or to be looked upon throughout the world. But the Lord is exposing you, man. That's what it means to let's go to the book of matter of fact, we still the same map. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 47. It says lament for Babylon. On the NLT, it says prediction of Babylon's fall, right? Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, which you can link that to the 137th chapter of Psalms. It says, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right. And that starts with, you small hats, man. All right. That set up America, all right, even was ahead of the transatlantic slave trade. All right. The Ish people, the 1948ers. All right. They the main ones that set this thing up. And they're the modern day Chaldeans, man. Okay. Verse 2, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Right, meaning what? Expose her. Expose Babylon. All right, verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, which is the wickedness, right? Yea, thy shame shall be seen. Now, let me see if I look this up. The word nakedness. Yeah. The Hebrew word there is ira. All right. It says the Hebrew word is irawa, from the root word ira. It says when you go to A, it says implying shameful exposure. Yeah, look at this. Disgrace, blemish, See? So yeah, the shame, all right, look at this lexicon. It says shame, filthiness. All right. So that's what's going on, man. The Lord is exposing the wickedness and is bringing about shame upon you, and you don't like it. See, we were put to shame for our wickedness as the Lord's people, as Israelites, and now you got the wicked nation. All right, the wicked nation, the Edomites, Esau, Edom, and his descendants. They're being put to shame by their wickedness and their heinous crimes against humanity and against the Lord's people, man. All right, and they don't like it. They want to try to call you or call your your talking points hate speech and all that stuff. Let's finish up in Habakkuk 2:16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Right, meaning what? The Lord's exposing you, man. All right, just like somebody would drink. Somebody would drink and usually, because the saying is what? A drunk man don't tell no tales, right? And just like a drunk man, someone is drunk, they expose, the things on their heart, which is their mind. Okay? Hey, America is likened into that. America is drunk with all this, vain and deceptive ways of living. Okay? And just like a drunk man telling all this, secrets of wickedness that's been done behind closed doors, all right, when he's drunk, that's what's going on, basically. The Lord got these Edomites drunk, man. All right, and they're exposing themselves. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing should be on thy glory. See? And that's what they don't like, man. All right, verse 17, for the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts, which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Yeah, man. The violence. All right. And who's more violent than the so-called white man? He's the most violent in the earth, man. And the violence he has against us is the main reason why he have shame. You go into the lynching. Yeah, you got so-called Negroes getting lynched, man. To this very day, getting lynched. all the police shootings and brutality, you know, the destruction of our families. All those things are something that's got to be answered for, man. You know? And this is why, again, slavery, because slavery was vast, man. You can go into the buck breaking, all right, the terror, because the real terrorists in the earth is your so-called white people, man. You have committed terrorist acts against the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American people, which were the Israelites. How many raids you did on the reservations after you taken down Gad? You almost exterminated the so-called Tainos. And the list goes on, man. Sterilization. Using chemical warfare. Even when Jake would serve your fucking military. How many so-called black families was, excuse me, how many so-called black families was, and the Latino families was broken up because why? You snatched out one of their loved ones from their home and lynched them in the streets, man. Putting the so-called Mexican through gas baths and shit. Put them in gas houses. All kinds of shit, man. You got to pay for that shit, man. The Lord is going to require that. Obadiah verse 7, it says, verse 10. It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. See? So it'll come with that brother shit. Oh, we're brothers. It was sure to say you've been cut off forever, man. Because your violence against us, man. Your violence against us has caused the Lord to cut you off, and you ain't no brothers to us, man. That's why you don't got no repentance. The Lord ain't accepting you damn Edomites, man. You through, man. You look who at the head of our oppression, even to this very day, is you. You so-called white people, man. You blaming what's going on with your country right now as we speak on the so-called blacks and Hispanics. We're the problem. We're the ones that's causing people to be unsafe. Right? According to you. That's why the Lord is getting ready to punish you, man. You ain't going to be able to escape, man. You know? This is Lamentations 4, verse 21. It says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwells in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. Right, you're going to be exposed. The Lord is, hey, the Lord's about to visit you, man. Verse 22, the punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, which is us Israelites. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. And that's what you don't like, man. See, Esau don't want to pay for his sins. He's been running, fleeing from justice, which proves he's Cain. Because what was Cain doing? Fleeing from justice. But now you're being brought up on charges, all right? And the evidence that's stacked against you is overwhelming. Excuse me. So what you're doing is trying to wiggle your way out of justice right now. But the Lord's gonna bring forth the verdict. All right. And then the verdict gonna be what? That you're gonna be bound, all right, in the pit or in prison or captivity for 1,000 years. Meaning you're gonna be slave, all right, for 1,000 years. Then you're gonna be exterminated. That's your coming future, where you're gonna be in captivity for 1,000 years, building up our kingdom, and then after that, extermination, man. Obadiah 18. So we got a good 1,000 years to have you build up the walls of Jerusalem and everything, man. And it's gonna be beautiful, man. To put our enemies under our foot, man. And to rule over them, all right, and to oppress them just like they oppress us. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah 14. I'm going to close. All right, Isaiah 14, and it reads, starting at 1, it says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob," which is the Israelite foreigners, by the way. Okay? It says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids," meaning what? Slaves. Just like we're still slaves right now under you Edomites. You're going to be our slaves, man. It says, "And they shall rule over their oppressors." Who's the one that oppress us? Beginning with you small hats on down, man. So from the 1948ers on down to you average Edomites, we're going to rule over you, man, for 1,000 years, all right, of putting you in slavery, enslaving you. And then after 1,000 years, guess what? Extermination, baby. Big old bonfire. No more Edomites. Goodbye, goodbye. See? Verse 3, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve." And that was done here again in spiritual Egypt. And remember, it says the Lord gonna give us rest. So when the people, return, which is us, when we return, we're gonna have rest. We'll have peace. And this proves that we're not back in our land because we don't have any peace right now. And there's no peace in the land of Israel right now because we ain't back in there. See? So this prophecy ain't been fulfilled yet. All right? Because if they were the people, they'll have the fucking Germans over there building up Israel or Jerusalem. You know? So this is a exciting time for us, man. All right? All right, we're gonna see the Lord put our enemies under our foot, man. So with that, all praise and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom till next time. Lord will not see you again. Shalom.